Hello, it's Wednesday the 28th. I'm FxPlew and this is the market brief. Now, Farage has been on. He set out a series of policies that Reform would adopt if they came to power. In the past, this probably would have been written off as hollow propaganda, but Reform is gaining traction as a credible right-wing alternative to the Labour Party. The big proclamation and the headline grabber, if you will, he would do away with the two-child benefits cap. This was a rather controversial measure introduced by the Tories back in 2017, I think, and many thought that Labour would reverse it at the earliest opportunity. However, Rachel Reeves probably balked at the cost when she chose to keep the cap in place and go after the pensioners. But whatever the logic, she left the door wide open for Farage to jump on this left-wing agenda, and it has rather served as a reminder to some of the Labour backbenchers that government policy is not always in line with core party values. Of course, the detail of how all this would be funded, arguably that's somebody else's problem when you're not in power and you're on a Trumpian quest for headlines and drama. Never let the details get in the way of a good story, right? Meanwhile, the IMF has been on and they've had some good news for Chancellor Reeves. They have upgraded their estimates for UK GDP in 2025. That's up to 1.2%. They've even suggested that an economic recovery is underway. Over in the US, the Fed are in for a pretty tough time at the moment. The economic shocks caused by Trump shooting from the hip with all his tariffs are driving rather difficult debate at the Fed as they wrestle with their primary focus between fighting inflation or supporting economic activity. Dear old Donald's latest creation, that 50% tariff on EU imports, has certainly fanned the flames of uncertainty for transatlantic supply chains. The dollar continues to whipsaw in reaction to all these policy changes, and investors are certainly jittery. The dollar index recovered to around 99.75 yesterday, and we kick off this morning around 134.75 against the dollar, about 119.20 against the euro, and euro dollar is around 113.10 on the open. Now, Bert's rather interested in the ducks in the fountain, so I better put him away. All the best.
If you do not have a clue, then just tweet through and ask FxPlew.